Hello, my name is Robert. I live in Michigan, and I got my Zurich contract through my dealer when I bought my vehicle back in April of last year. I chose the Zurich because the dealer recommended it. He said that there's a lot of other available contracts that you could get, but their experience was that Zurich was the best coverage you could get for the price that you pay and for their service and basically how they take care of it. They don't ask a lot of questions, and they realize that if your vehicle breaks down, you need it fixed. So no, actually it was a very easy a way to do things. The dealer walked me through all the information, showed me what I was spending my money to get, and said that once I signed on to it, and if I did need to use Zurich, that it was very simple to get a hold of them and to get approval for what you need repairs. There wasn't a lot of paperwork, a lot of phone calls or steps to take. So that's one of the reasons that convinced me that Zurich was probably better than most of them to use. It's funny because when I took my car in to have it fixed, what happened was the transfer case went out on it. And my mechanic called me and he said, I have bad news. He said the transfer case, even a used transfer case, was going to run $2,400 to $2,500. And I said, yike, I'm on a fixed income, I'm retired, and I'm thinking, well, there goes a chunk out of my savings. And I mentioned to him, I said, well, I have Zurich coverage. Will they cover it? And he's like, well, there's one way to find out. Let's give them a call. And I said, well, I can call them. And he said, oh, no. He says, I'll take care of it. So I gave him the VIN off the vehicle, and he dealt directly with them. He called me back about a half hour later and said, good news. He said, Zurich has no problem with covering the transfer case. The only difference is, he says, I can't get a used one for you. Zurich is insisting that I buy a new one. And a new one ran $4,800, and I ended up only paying a $100 deductible on that. So as far as it being an easy, painless way of doing it, my dealer took care, my repairman took care of the whole thing. So all I did was wait for the phone call and heave a sigh of relief that I was not going to be out $4,800. It's funny, I've never been a fan of extended warranties on appliances, and being old school, I did a lot of the repair work on my cars myself simply because it was, a little cheaper and easier than going to a dealer or to a mechanic. But the dealer told me, he said, you're going to want an extended contract. And I'm like, well, I don't know. He said, trust me. He said, these cars are so far ahead in technology that the average person can't work on them. And he said, if you have a component, God forbid, go out of the vehicle, he said they're very pricey. Most things to repair aren't $200 or $300 repairs anymore. They're $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. And he said to spend the little bit of money for the peace of mind that if there is a breakdown, Zurich will cover it. And he said to me, it's a no-brainer. And I'm very glad I did that. And it was even funny because I had to get a rental car because I'm a one vehicle family, and I thought, well, I wonder if Zurich covers rental cars. So I contacted them by email and got an email response back saying, send us a copy of your rental agreement when you turn your car in and it's paid for, and we'll reimburse you. And sure enough, about probably 10 days after I'd submitted that, here comes a check in the mail from Zurich to cover the rental car costs. So all in all, just a really good experience with them.